U.S. military deals not enough to wean India off Russian arms yet. Russian-made MiG-29 aircraft. New Delhi/Washington, July 10, Reuters. India's multi-billion-dollar purchases of U.S. arms are less about shifting its reliance on Russian defense equipment and moving towards the West. It's more about developing its own domestic weapons industry, security officials and analysts say. India is the world's biggest arms importer, but almost all of its major weapons purchases now include provisions for joint manufacture or technology transfer, irrespective of which country it is dealing with. Also, Russia's war in Ukraine has disrupted some military supplies to India, reinforcing New Delhi's long-term desire to diversify imports or replace them with home-built hardware, Indian defense officials said. India bought weapons worth over $60 billion in the last 20 years, of which 65% or nearly $39 billion were from Russia, according to Stockholm International Peace Research Institute data. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has said that India intends to order weapons from the domestic arms industry worth over $100 billion over the next decade. It is a reality that we have to reduce dependence on Russia, said a senior Indian defense officer working on future capabilities of the Indian military, who declined to be identified. But that is part two. The part one is the effort to get out of the import business. India announced significant purchases of U.S. defense equipment during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to Washington last month, including an over $1 billion order for GE.N engines for fighter jets. A possible $3 billion deal for MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones is also being discussed. In line with New Delhi's desire for self-reliance in defense and Modi's flagship Make in India policy, the jet engine deal includes joint manufacturing in the future, while the assembly and maintenance of the Sea Guardians will likely be in India. Eric Garcetti, the U.S. ambassador to India, said Washington had earlier paid lip service but was now easing India's access to military technologies. He said the U.S. was leaning in with technology sharing more with India than it had with some of its closest allies. However, the move so far will not be sufficient to end New Delhi's reliance on Russia, while stringent U.S. rules governing the sharing of military technology limit future possibilities for now. Nobody gives you everything. They keep you at least a screwdriver away from having it fully, said a second senior official from India's defense ministry, who also spoke on condition of anonymity. Arzin Tarapur, an Indian security expert at Stanford University, said the deals announced during Modi's visit do not in themselves represent an Indian shift away from Russia. A big shift away from Russia will take multiple decades, he said.